Michael here, founder of Done For You Meetings, your choice for done for you B2B prospecting. In today's video, I'm going to share with you one of the tricks that we use here at Done For You Meetings to get really good, consistent e-commerce sales meetings for our clients. Now, I don't see anybody talking about this, and I imagine a lot of people watching this video may have never considered this trick, this method, this strategy, so make sure to stay tuned.
Drop it.
So this comes down to platform. So when we look at platform for e-commerce, the most popular one for people targeting in their cold email campaigns is going to be Shopify. Why Shopify? Well, there's great integrations for email marketing. It's easy to integrate with most ad platforms. It's a generally easy to use platform. Number two is going to be WooCommerce. A little bit more difficult than Shopify, but there's still plenty of really good brands on WooCommerce. Now, one thing to consider here is that this is a relatively small segment of the e-commerce market. And most people with e-commerce agencies, whether they're offering SEO, ads, content, whatever, are going to be targeting people specific to these two platforms. So that means that, this segment of the market, I'm not sure how big it is percentage-wise, but it's the most competitive. That doesn't mean not to target people on these platforms, but there's a whole blue ocean out there of people on different platforms that are not getting reached out to. Now, one thing you might be thinking is, Michael, only bad brands don't use Shopify or WooCommerce. Well, that's just not true. There are a lot of really solid brands on here, and the overall quality percentage is higher. But for example, take a platform like Magento. Really big companies don't normally use Shopify or WooCommerce. They're much more likely to use a tool like Magento. Let's look at some examples really quick. So here I am on Store Leads. If you don't know what Store Leads is, it's a platform that allows you to filter stores by a variety of things like technology, platform, followers, industry, etc., etc. So for example, let's take Magento. Magento is a platform that I find that has really big brands. So I plug in Magento here, and I'm going to go to a advanced search. I'm just going to plug in the United States for another quality filter. So looking at Magento in the United States, there are 20,000. Now you might think that these would be small brands because they're not on Shopify or WooCommerce, but actually let's look at this. Esquire, massive. Circuit, massive. Country Living, massive. Go to page 4, put down Brewdog, Cobra Golf. Let's open up these. These are big brands. These are not small brands, and they're not getting reached out to as much through traditional cold email methods with people just filter the main core platforms. Now, these might be too big for you. That's certainly possible. You might want to even reduce the size of company when you're going through them and look for smaller ones, because a lot of these are very big companies. But to say that there's no good brands on here and to just completely ignore this whole segment of the market to their platform is just not a good idea. For example, if you wanted to find smaller stores, let's say we were going after Wix, Squarespace, Square Online, GoDaddy, Big Cartel, we could execute a search. And in the United States, there's a whole 562,000. Now, maybe majority of these leads don't match your ideal target, but it doesn't mean they're all bad. So we could open up a few. Let's see. Okay, this one is not necessarily e-commerce. This one is. Do they look bad? No, they look pretty good. And obviously you need to do some filtering to make sure there actually are e-commerce. A lot of these platforms cater to non-e-commerce, but to just ignore this whole segment to the platform is just not a good idea. Another idea is if you want to only target higher quality stores on these platforms, just plug in a quality filter. For example, 50,000 Instagram followers and above. That way you're only going to see brands on these platforms that have larger followings. There's still thousands of them. And these are ones that are just looked over. Now, another cool idea you could have is you could take one of these platforms that's notoriously not the best for e-commerce. Let's say, for example, Big Cartel. Big Cartel is a fine platform for somebody who's independent and small, but if you want to grow a big store, then you probably need to go off platform. So let's take Big Cartel. Let's open up a couple of these stores. Now, these stores are likely to be relatively small. You can see we're kind of simple. It's what Big Cartel is for. However, imagine if you offered a service where you could go to these people and help them upgrade their business. So we're small, but you could help them transition to Shopify and then run ads, or transition to Shopify and then do SEO, or generally consult them. So by just leaving these platforms untouched, you're just missing out on a massive segment of the market. Now, each of these stores is going to have different benefits and different cons. That's just the way it is. For example, GoDaddy stores and Magento are kind of big. Wix, Big Cartel, and Squarespace are normally smaller, but obviously there's exceptions to the rules. So go ahead, check out some stores on these platforms. You can do this through a tool called StoryLeads, like I showed. There will be a link down below, or a website called BuiltWith. I'm sure there's other ways to do it, like myip.ms if you want to get creative. And just see how could you transition your offer to helping these people. Whether it's you help them switch platforms, you help them optimize that platform, or you just look for bigger companies that are on these platforms you can already help as is. Highly recommend trying this out. If you want to stand out, you need to do something different, and this is certainly something different. Thanks for watching, and if you need any help with your own cold email campaigns, feel free to check out Done For You Meetings, dfymeetings.com, where we handle all of your campaigns and book you sales calls. Thanks for watching, drop a sub, and I'll see you in the next video.